Afternoon, everyone, from the Tabernacle of David, Prophetic Dance Center in Jerusalem. You know how to chase the enemy out of your life? Worship, worship, and worship. The enemy of your soul wants you to live a carnal life. Yes, each and every one of us was born into a fallen world, but that's not really who God intended us to be. Who I am in Messiah Yeshua, having Yeshua, God's salvation, living and breathing and having his being in me, he is at the center of my life. I can truly now walk and dance into my divine supernatural destiny in Yeshua's name. This carnal nature is not who I really am. This is the enemy's plan for us to live a carnal life. That is not God's plan. We were made in the image of God. Yes, that's right. So we need to just have this information. We need to be aware of this truth. We need to kick the enemy to the pit where he belongs. We need to fight, which is the name of my new speaking series, Fighting for My Life. We need to fight for our one-of-a-kind destiny. We are not to agree with sickness, disease, and infirmity, nor sin. Sin, our sinful flesh, and the enemy is like a magnet. We must be aware. This morning, I was putting my makeup on in front of the mirror, and I was having this thought. And it was not a godly thought. It was a carnal thought. And I said, this isn't my thought. We know where it's coming from. I'm living to please God. These thoughts that come into our mind, and we all have them, are not our thoughts when they're carnal thoughts, and they're thoughts that want us to sin, and they're thoughts that don't please God. Absolutely not. But you see, if we don't have the Lord Yeshua living within our hearts, we won't even be able to discern that. So very, very sadly and unfortunately, when people are having thoughts of suicide, we know where it comes from. But if we don't have the discernment of the Spirit of God, the Ruach HaKodesh living within us, we can't even discern and recognize that that thought is not our thought. It's from the pit of hell. Because the ultimate desire of the enemy is for a person to take their life. Absolutely. So we need to have the Spirit of the living God living and breathing and having his being within us so we can discern what thoughts are of God and what thoughts are from the pit of hell, and we need to send them to the Father. He knows what to do with them. So it is a fight. It's a fight to live a set-apart, holy, godly, pure life. But the scripture says that we can do it because we're sold out for Yeshua. We have his Spirit living. His heart is beating within our heart. That means we are fully capable of living the life that God has called us to live in the name of Yeshua. I hear the shofar in my spirit. That's right. Be a shofar blower if you don't have one. Do it with your voice. Do it with your mouth. My dear friend Rosalind, sometimes at the end of a concert, will blow the shofar, and she'll do it with her hand. She'll put it over her mouth like a shofar. She actually does it really well. Kudos to Rosalind. God is so good. So let's remember, our greatest weapon of warfare is praise. I mean, Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. They circled 7 times, and they praised. This is it. The enemy will try to steal your praise. You see, in praise, you have joy and you have strength, and you can do all things in Yeshua. Wow, who would have died if it were only you? He would have gone to his execution stake if it was only for you or only for me. And so we need to use our two innate worship gifts, our voice and our bodies in motion, to praise King Yeshua. And he literally wants to shift our lives as we are praising him through the new song and the new dance. And he is healing his people this way. I can testify with all the different people that I've worked with in the nations. I've seen people change. I've seen them get set free. I've seen shackles fall away. Here's the key: as they come as a non-judgmental child. Because your properly behaved adult will never come into your destiny because you are concerned about what your neighbor thinks, which is idol worship. There's a scripture Yeshua said, I was just reading it last night, if anybody loves his mother or father more than me, he's not worthy. He's not worthy of me. You see, because we came into the world with God, we'll go out with God. We are to love, absolutely. But our devotion, our number one primary devotion should be to God, and everyone else, even our parents and our family, after God. And here's the thing, if we don't know the love of God experientially, we're not even capable of loving our parents with God's love. Honor your mother and your father, and things will go well with you, and you will have long life. But you can't even know how to do that if you don't have Yeshua. And with our parents and our loved ones and the world, our testimony of love comes from his heart to ours.